Morning. Right, my mirror yesterday was repaired and primed, and I've given it 2 coats of white, and now I'm going to use, I've mixed up a dark grey glaze, it's ash that's in with a clear glaze, and I'm going to put it over into the details and take the top off. I don't know if you can see this first piece that I've done here. The lighting's not great today. Hopefully you can see it as I'm going along. So I'm brushing the glaze into all the wee spaces and then using a baby wipe to take it off the top. And that'll just leave it in the crevices. But they're quite deep in this and I don't want too much of it, so if there's too much at the end I can go back over with some diluted paint maybe and brighten it up on the areas that are too dark. It might look okay. You see that? The difference in those? I can't get the camera any lower and the sun's beating in this morning, which is lovely. But white was just too white for me, and I've got so much blue going on that I didn't want extra blue. Because if I put this on a blue wall, I want it to contrast. I was going to try a blue glaze, but it just would look a bit too manufactured, I think, rather than this kind of looks like aged wear rather than a manufactured colour. Nothing wrong with a manufactured colour, right enough if you're being funky, but maybe on a more modern themed mirror. It'd be nice to have a different coloured glaze. But this is a kind of classical look piece, I think. Are you getting that? I love the sun, but no when it's shining right on your work. Typical, all the good weather comes out now when we're stuck indoors. I think it might force me into doing some gardening later. Though it's still a bit cold in Scotland. Yesterday felt freezing. I'm also going to do a glaze in the trim as well, but I'm going to do it all in the one go, so I don't want to do it just now while I'm going along and stop and start. Because when you go to take it off, if you do it in stages, it dries in between and you end up with a line. I don't want that. The sun's really hitting us. I'll lift it up once I've done a bit more. See if you can see it better. It's just a messy, time-consuming job. What's everyone else doing today? I'm so croaky. Can't get my words out. It's funny because obviously I don't normally speak because I'm here myself, and when you do on camera it's like, oh, surprise. I do talk to myself sometimes. Dirty work. Take a nice new one. So the rose that I created yesterday is on the other side. I'll show you when we get around to doing that. It actually turned out not too bad. It's not like that's the kind of job I do often. I just thought I'd give it a try. That's the beauty of doing stuff like this. Try it. If it doesn't work, you can always fix it. I mean, if that had turned out awful, I could have sanded it back, and it wouldn't have been any worse actually than a missing rosebud, so there was no loss in trying it whatsoever. Because this is an aged look as well. See if you chip a wee bit, I haven't, but if you chip a wee bit of paint on the way round, it doesn't matter. Because you're going for an old look. You don't want it to look crispy new. And I think when they're in that shiny gold, they always kind of look as if they're trying to look new. I prefer this look. Right. That's all the rosebuds on one side. I'll lift it up, see if you can see it. And against the other side, which is pure white, it's much nicer, isn't it? I'll go around the edge now, get it in one swoop. Because it is a groove in there that I'll hold to get. Whether it works or not is a different story. The baby white was diluting it, so I've gone for a dry cloth. Which has worked to a point, but there's a few wee bits that I need to get before it dries, where I don't want too much of the grey. just playing about with it until you get the amount you're looking for. That's it. So you see it's settled into the grooves. On the other side it's just white. I like. So I'm going to go ahead and do the cherubs, and I'll come back to you when it's finished.